Hello, my name is Kevin Beck, and I am a proud user of Campaign Cartographer 3 Plus, which is a software program designed to create maps for your fantasy gaming pleasures. I am going to show you today how to control your sheets. One of the biggest mistakes that beginners make when they do Campaign Cartographer 3 maps is they forget about sheets, and they get their sheets mixed up, and then it all turns to crap. So, what I'm going to do is which is going to turn the color to that generic color that I want to use, which has nothing to do with this tutorial, but I thought I'd add it anyway, since I need to change the colors. So, the first thing I'm going to show you is the sheets. The sheets are located on this tab. That is a quick tab to the sheets, and as you can see, it lists all the sheets for the Mike Schley style in CC3 Plus for overland maps. Now there's a whole bunch of sheets here: sea, contours, sea features, land. Starting at the top is the lowest sheet, background, and then it goes, as you go down the list, each one of these sheets stacks on top of the other. So map border is above forest. Coastline is above forest. If you put a coastline over forest, you won't see the forest. So that's basically it. Forest for the trees. Ha! Pun. Alright, so now that I've explained that, I'm going to go ahead and lay down a few symbols here on this map, because we're going to do the symbols first, and then in a later tutorial I'm going to show you how to do the same thing with the land. Or the land. This stuff. Alright, so I'm going to choose the mountains tab, and all these pretty mountains here, and I'm going to lay down. Now you see, as I click that, what happens? This turns to symbols. It's set to symbols right now. So click, 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 click. Whole bunch of symbols, mountains, set and ready to go. Now I'm going to right click, just get out of that, and move down here. Don't have to right click, I just did it out of habit. As you can see, the colors changed, so I have to go up here and switch the color. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Now you can see brown, so I am going to add a bunch of little brown mountain symbols. Actually, I don't want those. I want the exact same mountain peak I was using before. This is similar to it. It is the same one. Alright, or a similar one. So now we have brown mountains and we have the gray mountains. Now, if I go in and to the sheets, and all those were on the symbols tab, I hide symbols, you're going to see all those symbols have now disappeared. So they're all on the symbols tab. There's 3 different mountains on the symbols tab. Now if you want those 3 different mountains to have different effects, you're not going to be able to do it, because when you apply an effect to the symbols tab, you're going to apply effect to all 3 of those mountains, and it won't look right. So I'm going to show you now how to fix it so that's not the case. There are a number of ways to do this. First, I'm going to unhide the mountains. And there they are again. Now, the first way to do it is, now, you would put it on a mountains tab. But of course, as you see here, there is no mountains tab. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create a mountains tab. Actually, I'm going to create 3 different mountains tabs, as you will see. I am going to create, as soon as I hit the caps lock, symbols, mountains, add. Then I'm going to add symbols, brown mountains, and I'm going to add symbols, little brown mountains. Kind of long for symbol, but you get the idea. And then I'm going to place the symbols. By using this, you can put the symbol anywhere you want. Remember, at the beginning of the tutorial, I said if it's on top, it's at the bottom. So you got to bring it up. I know the name is already used. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I hit add. You don't want to hit add. You want to hit move up. So we're going to put it above symbols. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to do the same thing with this one. So we've got 3 symbols that we can now apply these mountains to. Now, there's a number of ways to apply them. Remember, we already have all of these mountains are sitting on the Symbols tab right now. Now, if I were to create more mountains of the little one or any variety right now, if I were to grab any of these mountains here, it's going to go on the Symbols Little Brown Mountains tab. I'll show you. I'll click one. I'll put it down here in the corner. Now, I'll go in here, and I will hide. I'll hide symbols, because remember, all those mountains are still on the Symbols tab. And Little Brown Mountain is on that tab. I didn't hide it. Now, I'll just prove that. That doesn't really prove much. So I'm going to go in and get rid of symbols. Actually, do that, and hide Little Brown symbols. And now you're going to have a blue screen. If I can get the stupid cursor. No, I thought I could hide. Oh, that's right. I can't hide it if it's got that arrow there. If it's active, you cannot hide a sheet. So now I've hid that Little Brown Mountain symbol, and bang, it's gone, all blue. Now I'm going to go put them back. So I take that off and that off. Now I'm going to take this set of mountains, and I'm going to put it on the Symbols Mountains tab that I created. So how do I do that? I go to the Properties button, which is this button right here, right next to the eraser, and I'm going to drag and drop. Sometimes you have to click these individually, but I have cleverly set it up so that I can drag and drop. If I had to click them individually, all I have to do is bang, bang, bang. Okay, so now that's done. You go do it, and then you go to the sheet, Symbols Brown Mountains, which is what we don't want. We want this to be on the Symbols Mountains tab, as we can see here. Layers is different. Everything is on Minerals Mountains anyway, so that's okay. We're not going to deal with layers in this tutorial. Layers are important too, but they're not as important as sheets, in my opinion. Somebody wants to slap me down on the forum, slap me down on the forum. Alright, so everything is on the Symbols Mountains tab, those 3 gray ones, or however many I made. You hit OK, it was 4. And now that's done. So you just flip them. Now these are going to be on the Symbols Mountains tab. How can I prove it? I bet you've guessed. Alright. I take the Symbols Mountains tab and I hide it. Once you get experience, you don't have to check, but as you can see, it's on the Symbols Mountains tab because I hit it and they're gone. That's one way you can do it. Now, that is not the best way to do it, in my opinion. First, I'll unhide these, because if you're like me, you can forget to change symbols. So let's say I do that, and now these are on that tab. I want to lay some more of these down. If I go in and say click that mountain again, let's see if I can find it. There's a lot of beautiful mountain symbols on this sheet. I think it's this one right here. Say I want to do that. It'll go on the Symbols Brown Mountains tab. See, and I'm not going to do that because I don't want it on the Symbols Brown Mountains tab. Anything I pick is going to be on that Symbols Brown Mountains tab. Anything. So I'm going to escape out of there. I don't want that. So I could have mistakenly thought that when I put these on here and made them all Symbols Mountains, that every mountain I'd have now would be Symbols Mountains. What I have to go do is activate the Symbols Mountains tab like this, and now I'll go and pick one of these mountains, I'll add it, I was so used to hitting that button. And then I go back here, hide symbols mountains after I deactivate the tab, and they're gone. So that time, it as you can see, that is exactly what happened. Now that is not, in my opinion, the best way to do it. My opinion, I'm going to show you right now. Get ready. I've been blabbing for 10 minutes. It's now time to get to the point of the video. Get ready. I've just showed you how to set up all the symbols mountains and set up new sheet tabs so that you can separate the different mountain ranges. Having everything under symbols is just not very efficient. It's very easy to get you screwed up. That's why I created these three, so I could break them down and affect each symbol individually. It takes a while to set up in some spread like this one. You're going to have to set up a lot because all these sheets are pretty generic, in my opinion. Please forgive me, Mike Schley. They are very generic to me. So I went in and created new symbols. Now I'm going to show you how to take all the symbols that I just did and, using the magic of the symbol manager, I'm going to take Great Peak 1, which is this symbol right here. I'm going to hit on that and see how that blacks. And I'm going to hit Great Peak 2. And I'm going to hit all the Great Peaks I laid down. Because this particular symbol has variations to it. Now, here's Great Peak. So I want to take all the Great Peak symbols that I just laid that are gray. Oh, actually, I'm not going to take those. I'm going to take Great Peak Scene 1 and Great Peak Scene 2 because I know those two are attached to this one. How can I tell? First off, let me just do this. I'm going to show you what to do. If I'm doing this wrong and I pick the wrong symbols, it doesn't change the fact that it will work. I just would have picked the wrong one. I don't think I did, though. So what I'm doing, I'm going to hit the Options tab, or the Options dialog box, or whatever it's called in Computerese. And as you can see, if you go down this list, there's a whole bunch of stuff here, and I'm not going to use any of it right now. I don't know how to use any of it except for this. Force Sheet. Every time that you pick this symbol as it's set up right now, it's automatically, regardless of what's up here, it's automatically going to take and put that symbol, well, it'll put it on whatever symbol you have up here. But say I go, oh, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here for a second. I'll click this. Now, this is not going to be on the symbols brown. At least I don't think it will be. I could be wrong. But anyways, I'll do it anyway. It could be on the symbols brown. Let's try it. I think it's going to end up on the symbols brown. But I got a gut feeling that when I hide mountains, yeah, this is on the symbols brown. So you could just put this to activate the symbols mountain sheet, and then you're done. And then you could just remember to do that. And then all the mountains that you lay will be on the specified tab. Okay. So they'd be on this tab. And that's all you'd have to do. You wouldn't have to do what I'm doing. But if you can't remember to do that, this works. Or if you forget, and if you do forget, you can screw yourself up and cause yourself a lot of work. So if you're forgetful like I am, this is how you do it. Bang, bang, Control, Options, and then Force Sheet. What you put in there, can you guess what you'd put in there? You'd put in the same sheet number, or the same sheet label that I just put in. And sorry for that. I know the sound on this video is crap, but I've got a little cheap little microphone that I'm using, you can hear my voice, so it should be okay. As you can see, force sheet. Now I will click. Anytime I click that symbol, it's going to force it to go to the Symbols Mountains sheet. And then you will never have to manipulate. You won't have to remember to change the sheet up here, because it's going to force it to Symbols Mountains. That, to me, is the best way to do it, because then you'll never have to remember to flip this to flip the sheets again. Hit OK. Now I'll prove it to you that it works. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to be pretty humiliated. I'm going to switch it to symbols. So now, because it's switched to symbols, all the sheets that are on here, and just for confusion, to clean this up, I'm going to go ahead and delete everything that's on here. Do it. We'll get rid of all that. I'm assuming you know how to do all that already. I'm going to click this button and watch the Symbols tab up here change. Boom. Symbols Mountains. Bang zoom. That took a long time to get to. But that is the tutorial that I wanted to show. As you can see, every single one of these mountains are now on the Symbols Mountain sheet. Now, let's do it with the brown mountains. Remember I had the brown mountains? Symbols, brown mountains. So I'm going to go down here. And I am going to pick... The only problem with it is color does not transfer from the Symbols Manager. You won't see the brown. What you'll see is one of the symbols that you just did. So technically, let's try... Like if this is a brown mountain, but if I hit Great Peaks 2, it's going to be a symbol. See? The color has changed. This is the exact same symbol that I put up with these gray ones. It's the same color, but because you changed, it's the same symbol, but because you changed the color, it's not doing that on top. So that it reads it as a different thing. So that's good. But let's say we want to use this symbol. We're going to click on that and put that here. I think that's the one we did before. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to hide everything else. Oh, I just realized if I hide that, all those are going to be gone except for the ones I just did. So I got to go back in and I got to do this. I'm going to unhide that and hide the Symbols Mountains tab. Get rid of the river. You don't need that for this tutorial. And then you'll have all your brown mountains left. So let's say we're going to do this the easy way for a second, or the first way I taught you. And we're going to change the properties and make this little brown mountains. Do it. Now, I actually have to select it first. Boom. Do it. I'm having a hard time right now. There we go. Do it. And then little brown mountains. Boom. Okay, so now that's on the Little Brown Mountains tab. I'm doing a review. By now, some of you have probably turned this off. You get the gist of what I'm talking about, which is fine. Alright, so we're done with that. Now, what mountain did I just pick? I picked that one. Got to remember the name of the tab that you picked, or the look of the symbol that you picked. So I'm going to do this again. Just make sure. Yeah, that's pretty much the one I picked. I'm going to say it is. So I go in to Symbols, Symbol Manager, and I find the symbol I just laid down, if I can. Mountain Small. That's the one I did. So we're going to pick all the Mountain Small symbols that I just laid down. I mean, you do have to keep track of the symbols that you've laid down. So far, I've only laid down like 3 different symbols. So I'm going to pick all of those. All the symbols that belong to the same family. And yes, I forgot to hit the control key. And every one of you stop laughing right now because I am confused. And that is just the way it is. I have now hit the Options tab. I've selected all those mountains. Options. Symbols. And I want Symbols. Little brown mountains. So now I will have forced it to that tab. So I hit OK. Get out of that. We're going to clear out everything on this board. Just because I think it's fun to delete things with an eraser. And I'm insane. We're going to do it. And it's all gone. You see it? It's gone. It's totally gone. And I like it that way. Because I'm going to do this now. I'm going to switch this. Get it off there, Kevin. Get it off there so you can prove the point. Now, if this doesn't go, I will go nuts. Ah! It worked. As you can see, you can control every little symbol that you lay down on the sheet by using the Symbol Manager. It's wonderful. Now, one last thing. I probably screwed up. Some of these might not disappear, but we're going to find out. You, by now, can understand what it is that I'm trying to teach you. You can see what I did. You can see how you can set up all your own sheets. You can set it up so that they will be forced to go to the proper tab regardless of what you have up here. And you will create faster, quicker, more creative maps. You will, because you have better recall than I do, as this video demonstrates. Alright, so we're going to hide little brown mountains and hit OK and see what happens. Oh, I did it! They all disappeared. Well, that is the end of this video tutorial and comedic endeavor. And I hope that you will come back at some time and see the second video in this series where I do the same I cursed. Sorry. The same thing to these so that you can make sure that all of your scenery symbols match up with what you want and you won't have the same problems I've been discussing. You can set up your entire symbol catalog, including your CSUA. I can't remember what it is. The bogies and the CSU. All of those symbols can be set up so that you can do that exact same thing and never have to worry about getting your sheets screwed up again and have to go back and spend a half hour fixing your sheets or an hour to make sure your map looks good and to make sure when you go back into it a month later or a week later, you won't be baffled when you throw up an effect and nothing happens. And that's it. Thank you very much.